Hi there, this is Brian Eastman with Sell Fast Forum. I wanted to introduce myself and just let you know over the last 8 or 9 years I've flipped approximately 80 houses, and I wanted to be able to share some of that experience with you. As we start through this 9-part series, we'll work our way from first talking about the areas, etc., that we like to purchase houses in, and towards the end, on the 9th step, we'll end up marking the house sold on our website. So we'll give you a lot of good information starting from the end and working back to the beginning and absolutely everything in between. So first, let's talk a little bit about the areas that you're looking to invest in. My favorite areas are areas that are not so terribly expensive that it prices a lot of buyers out of the market, but not so inexpensive that buyers are having difficulty getting financing. What that means is that right now, from what my experience and what I've found, and from what most investors are finding, are that if you're looking in the range of $175,000 to $375,000, you're probably having pretty good success in selling those homes, assuming that the homes are completely ready to sell. Now, where we are seeing some issues from other investors around the country right now is if they're way at the bottom end of that, so let's say the $75,000 to $100,000 price range, a lot of those buyers right now are unable to be financed. At the other end of that spectrum, on the $375,000, $400,000 to up to $1 million plus homes, in the past we have not seen that big of a difficulty in selling those homes several years ago because financing was so easy to get. However, now you're seeing that people are having to put 20, sometimes 30% plus down on a $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 house. That's very difficult for anybody to do, especially people who may have lost a lot of money over the last few years in the stock market, etc., and are being asked to come to the closing table with $250,000 cash. So what we found from our experience in flipping houses and selling houses quickly is that if you stick to that 175 to 375 area, and more specifically in the middle of that area around $250,000, that right now seems to be where most houses are selling and selling pretty well. So that's the first part. Let's decide which areas we want to invest in where the end value, that is the after repair value, will be approximately $250,000 to $275,000. Okay, so let's assume that we've decided that we're comfortable selling houses that will be worth $250,000 to $275,000 when we're finished with them. That's great. That's a great start. Now, where do we buy these houses? There's a lot of areas, for example, in the Atlanta market that we work in that end up having houses in the $250,000 to $275,000 range. Which areas do we want to invest in? Well, what I do like right now is houses that are closer to the city. People are fed up with having to drive, 30, 45 minutes, an hour one way to work. So see if you can find something that's a little bit closer to the city and also something that's selling well. Well, Brian, you might say, that's ridiculous. Of course I want to find an area that's selling well. Well, what you'll want to do is get in touch with a local real estate agent, or if you have access to the statistics that the real estate agents have, take a look at that. You really want to hone in on, say, 2 to 3 areas specifically that you know once you finish with your product and it's ready to be sold, that you'll have a very easy time selling that place. I would estimate that in most cities there are actually only 2, 3, 4, 5 places maybe that are actually selling well, and it's very easy to find those places these days. Go to your real estate agent, say, hey, where are the places that are selling well right now? And I guarantee you they'll be able to tell you within a minute or so exactly the specific areas that you should be looking in. So the first lesson that we really want to talk about is the price range. We've talked about that, and the area. Let's find the top 1, 2, or 3 areas that are selling extremely well, and by extremely well, in this type of day and age, in this market, we're looking at places that are selling on average in 60 days or less. The quicker you're able to sell the house, the quicker you're able to get out of that house and into the next house. Thanks so much for listening to the first tip. We'll have more tips here in the coming weeks, and we appreciate your time. If you have any questions, keep the feedback coming. I really appreciate your emails and check us out at sellfastforum.com.